Probably you want to know which exercise this is, then stay tuned. Because I will show them to you and you can follow along, and at the end of the video there will be a bonus exercise. Ina will show you the exercise and I will explain to you exactly what to do. The exercise we are doing now, I love it because it trains both the left and right sides simultaneously. You will see soon why. We must work with both sides, and this is a very easy exercise to provide the hip with a lot of comfort. Sit down, extend your legs forward, and let's start with the right leg. Put your right leg under your left knee, crosswise, so that the lower leg is approximately parallel to the front edge of the mat, and then we need a 90-degree angle. That means lift yourself so that your thigh is also parallel to the edge of the mat. A little further. A little further with the buttocks practically over here. Exactly. And when the thigh and the lower leg are parallel to their respective edges, then you have reached the 90 degrees. And now comes the big experiment. Now you lean a little to the right and then step back as far as possible with your left leg. It works pretty well with Ina. It may be that if you are very shortened, you may only come this far and not further because everything is too shortened. And then I recommend to you, then you do not go into the 90-degree angle, but first into a 45-degree angle, and then you will notice it is easier for you to slowly work your way further in there. So you have to decide where to start from. 90 degrees or 45 degrees, Ina goes back to the 90, but you can also do it with 45. Go back as far as you can. No matter which angle you choose, go as far back with the leg as possible. But as I said, don't be surprised if the knee still sticks out a bit here. This is then a matter of practice. And then you try to lift the soles so that the instep rests. And now this is important. As you can see, Ina is too far forward. And that's why you have to try to always go higher. And when you go higher and higher, you notice that there is a proper stretch in the left groin where the leg goes back, and that's where we stretch now. Yes, we are starting now, stretching in there always further. And try, Ina, not to lean forward so much in the lower back, but try to straighten your back to work vertically, always moving further back. And then you notice, yes, there's a pull in the left groin, and that's the task now. Bit by bit upright, so eventually, when you're seen from the side, you are as vertical as possible, and seen from behind or from the front as well. And now we continue to breathe in deeply and keep trying, Ina, keep trying to go higher. Push yourself up and always work on trying to stay more upright with your torso. Breathe nicely, only go as far in as is still positively bearable. Just a comfortable pain. And now we are going to do our strength training. Now please press down with your right foot, Ina, against the ground and also with your left foot. Press firmly, and you should join in right away. Press firmly, press a little more, then release again and continue moving the trunk backwards. Attempt to remain upright. If you are still hanging pretty far to the right, then you are not only pushing yourself backwards into an upright position, but also to the left. But remember, try to stay back. Try to stay behind. And then again, the right foot presses into the ground and the left one too. Right, with strength. Even more, really with force, as if you wanted to push a dent into the ground, but it still has to be tolerable. And then you relax again and go further into the vertical position. And now we repeat that on the other side. You return to the same starting position. Now we'll start on the other side. Go with your left leg under your right knee, again so that the mat is parallel in front. Lift yourself around so that you get the 90-degree angle, yes, so that the thigh is straight, parallel to the edge of the mat, and go back with your right leg. With your right leg back, nicely with the foot to the back. The 45-degree rule applies again, as with the other side. If it doesn't work at 90, then do it at 45, and now start stretching again. Now the exercise begins, and you move yourself nice and further into the stretch. And now you notice, now it pulls, when you push yourself back, it pulls in the right groin. And on the other side, where the leg is in front, the entire gluteal area is always stretched. When both are stretched, hip flexors and glutes, the hip usually feels much, much better. Keep pushing up, work your way in, breathe in deeply and breathe out deeply. Always go a little further into the stretch when exhaling, that will help you. And now our strength training begins. The left foot presses against the ground, the right foot presses against the ground. If this tensing is still too much for you, or you can't really assess what it does to you, then just leave it out and stay in the stretch. Then it is also a great exercise. But if you can tense up, then do it because it enhances the stretching and it makes you stronger. Completely functional strengthening. Relax again, continue with the stretching. Yes. And once again, tighten the left foot firmly against the ground, tighten the right foot against the ground, really tight, even tighter and a little bit tighter. And relax again and go a little further in, a little further in. Breathe nicely, we're almost there. And now the exercise time is over, 2 minutes have passed. Always remember that we need this time so that we can nicely release the tissue. And then you slowly go out, maybe stand up, you don't always need to be at home. Feel inside, move a little. And if you notice that something is happening, then give a thumbs up and also share the video, because the hips in many people, especially as they get older, are always getting stiffer. And now I had promised you a bonus exercise which involves our sacroiliac joint and sciatic nerve. You can also do them with a ball of the appropriate size, or maybe split a coconut in half. It has roughly this shape. What's going on now? This is a very exciting thing. It's about being able to train and practice while resting, and now you have two functions in one exercise, namely lying on it and the pressure against the buttocks. The entire buttocks are relaxed, and you always lie down on the spot where it is most sensitive, and then you dose it so that it still feels good, and after a while you notice that the pressure pain decreases because everything is already relaxed. You can imagine it like a very, very intense massage. That's about the effect. And at the same time, look, the hip is higher than the torso and the right foot. That means you are going into hyperextension, and you might feel a slight pulling over the groin, Ina. This is the stretching of the hip flexor. So we relax the back and stretch the front and do the same with the other side. I recommend doing these things in the evening as a way to end the day when there is no longer much desire or energy to do big exercises, but just lying down. That always feels good. And you will see a great improvement if you do these exercises daily. Also observe your progress, your changes, and write a comment. Many are interested in what is happening with you. And if you feel like doing more hip exercises, then click here for a great exercise routine for the hip, and down here you can subscribe to the channel, which you should definitely do. Also activate the bell if you haven't already done so.